All right. So to start out, we're going to go over four different things this evening. Oh, goodness. Already messing up. Okay. We're going to go over four different things this evening. The degree programs that we offer, the application process for our Doctor of Pharmacy program, why Purdue Pharmacy, and then a little bit about preparing for college. So first, we offer two different degree programs in the College of Pharmacy. The first is a Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences, also referred to as the BSPS program. This is a four-year bachelor's degree program, but there's also a part of this program that is a two-year accelerated degree program, which students who are interested in our second degree program we offer, the Doctor of Pharmacy, or PharmD, generally take. For our PharmD program, we have certain prerequisites that students have to finish. And so our pre-Doctor of Pharmacy accelerated program is built so that you can finish all of those prerequisites within the first 2 years at Purdue and then go on to apply and, if admitted, start the Doctor of Pharmacy program in your third year. The Doctor of Pharmacy program is a four-year professional degree. It's meant to prepare students to become licensed pharmacists, where the bachelor's degree program is that typical college degree you think of when you think about going to college, and it is in pharmaceutical sciences. So people who are interested in that typically are interested in research and development, or I have some students who are doing that program because they're pre-med. Kind of depends on like where your interests lie and kind of what you want to do with your degree. Ambassadors, can you talk a little bit about why you wanted to go into pharmacy?
So I can go first. So I actually applied to around 13 different schools as a senior, all for different majors. And I just happened to choose pharmacy for Purdue. But ultimately, I knew I wanted a job in healthcare because I grew up with my mom being in healthcare as well. I knew that I couldn't go in and do the surgeries and things like that. That's just too much for me. Um, but a degree in a career field where I can help patients even without directly seeing them face to face was something I was really interested in. And then as I progressed more through my pharmacy journey, I learned how many different career options are available for pharmacists out there. So that's really kept me driven to continue this path.
Similar to Annika for me is I actually have Crohn's disease, so I was kind of like a patient for a while most of my life. So kind of being like involved in healthcare like that, it kind of inspired me to kind of go into healthcare. And I found pharmacy really appealing because I thought that it was really like heartwarming to be that kind of last step in someone's healthcare journey where you're treating them and like you're actively dispensing their medication and interacting with them in that type of way. So that's what I found most appealing about it.
I would say very similar. I grew up like working with people my entire life. I was a tutor, I was an instructor at my Taekwondo studio and stuff like that. So I loved working with kids, working with other people. I volunteered in a lot of senior homes this past summer. So I knew I wanted a healthcare position where I could continue having those face-to-face interactions and working with people and offering that counseling. And pharmacy was the perfect thing that combined everything for me.
Thank you all. So with our two degree paths, I kind of talked about it, but we have the Bachelor's of Science. You can go pre-pharmacy with the goal to get into the PharmD program, or you can stay on the four-year Bachelor's of Science Pharmaceutical Sciences degree. No matter which pathway you want to take, if you are applying to Purdue, you'll want to apply to the College of Pharmacy for the Pharmaceutical Sciences degree, because all of our students will start there. And then during your freshman and sophomore year, you'll make that decision of if you want to do pre-pharmacy and apply for PharmD during your sophomore year, or if you want to stay on track to do your Bachelor's of Science in Pharmaceutical Sciences and then move on to the second 2 years of that degree. Um, During your time at Purdue in your first year, you get to have an orientation to pharmacy course that kind of explains more about pharmacy careers. So if that's a thing that you're not sure like which pathway was for you, that might be a helpful course, along with just looking into the field more and getting a feel for what works best for you. Our BSPS program also started, and this is new this year, a 4+1 program. So it's 4 years of a bachelor's degree and then 1 year to get a master's degree. The Master's in Public Health department at Purdue partners with BSPS for this. So during the 4th year of that bachelor's degree program, you would start taking courses towards your master's degree, graduate with your bachelor's degree, and then do 1 more year of courses and graduate with a master's degree. This is a little bit about the curriculum. They have concentrations in family and community health, biostatistics, epidemiology, and like it says there, you'll take some of those pharmacy courses and some of the master's courses during the senior year before going on. The really great thing about a 4+1 program is that during your senior year, you're not paying the price of a graduate degree. You are just paying the price of the undergraduate degree. So you only have 1 year of graduate degree instead of two. And if you're interested in knowing more about like financial aid, how much it costs to come to Purdue, I highly encourage you to check out the financial aid website for Purdue. It outlines all of that information and things can change from year to year. So I don't want to quote any of the statistics, and I'll just leave it to the experts over in financial aid. In your first semester, whether you are interested in pre-pharmacy or you are interested in the bachelor's degree program, you will be taking these courses, chemistry, calculus, biology, that intro to pharmacy course that I had kind of talked about, communications course. And then if you are taking any kind of AP or dual credit courses while in high school, there are courses that might come in and cover some of the requirements of our program. So these might change depending on if you have AP credit coming in. For AP courses, typically it's a 4 or higher to score into one of these classes. So for example, biology AP exam, if you were to score a 4, you would not have to take biology 110 at Purdue. And all of the scores and tests are laid out on the admissions website for which AP scores go to which courses at Purdue. You would also talk with your advisor about it, and they would help you to know what courses you need to take and which ones you don't, and prepare you for those first 2 years. Ambassadors, do you want to talk a little bit about like your first semester of college, what that experience was like, or how you kind of adjusted to the college atmosphere?
So I brought in a lot of credit from high school. Of the ones on the list, I brought in AP credit for calculus and then dual credit for communications. So that already knocked two of my classes out of the way. I had AP credit I could have used towards that general chemistry Chem 129, but my advisor recommended that I not use it and that I rather go and be a part of the class, learn how to do the labs, because that's really the main class that you'll have that first semester here on campus. Um, you might hear a few intimidating things about it, but it's really foundational to all of the other concepts that you'll learn in your pharmacy journey. Also for what was it? I had a lot of other courses that came in as well for AP credit. Those just counted as like electives. And then I also took my what's it called? Economy. I took that as well the first year. But other than that, the course load was relatively okay. It was a lot more studying than I was prepared for because in high school I did not really have to study that much. So that is something to be aware of.
A similar kind of experience for me. I came in with a calc credit, so thankfully I didn't have to take calculus one. Um, I think that's the only one for the first semester that I only class I got kind of got out of. But yeah, AP the honestly the I would say most of the time your time The first semester will probably go to Chem 129, which is that general chemistry course. I will say it's definitely not easy and it's definitely a little difficult, but I think it's definitely manageable. And a lot of the professors and the TAs, they provide like office hours and also like problem solving sessions to help you kind of know how to answer questions on the exams. So I think if you really take advantage of those kind of resources, it makes the class go a lot smoother. And yeah, bio I took previously. I didn't get credit for it, but I took that during high school, so that again made it a little easier. I think overall, my transition from high school to college was pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but easier than I was expecting. I think a lot of people always say like how different college is from high school, and it definitely can be. But I think some good advice for that is just making friends with people with the type of student you want to be. So just making sure you're befriending people in your classes who are academically driven so that you're more willing to study in things. And then I think that makes that transition a lot easier.
I also came in with a good amount of high school credit. For example, I came in with my calc credit and I'd already taken AP Chem in high school, so I didn't need to take the Chem 129 class. But same as Annika, my advisor recommended me taking it, and I also highly, highly recommend retaking Chem 129 in college. Not only does it like make you, relearn all the fundamentals of chemistry, it helps you practice study skills without having to worry about learning the content from scratch on top of that, because studying in college is different from studying in high school. You don't really get as much time in class to like, like get those concepts like locked in. You want to do that on your own time while you're practicing and stuff. And also for I came in with the Intro to Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences credit actually. I took that the spring of my senior year of high school, which I know Purdue offers as an online class if that's something you guys want to see, and see if you guys want to learn more about the careers of pharmacy earlier on before you enter Purdue. But a lot of freshmen take it as well, and it's very informative. I really like that class as well.
Thank you all for sharing. And I will say they all did mention that they have AP credit, but our degree program is meant for you not to come into for AP credit, so it is all completely doable within those first 2 years. Oh, these are the typical AP courses. If you are interested in learning more about how the AP courses come in, I did put the website down there. If you just Google Purdue AP credit, you can find all of the information there. If you have any specific questions when it comes to dual credit or specific courses taken at a college here in Indiana or elsewhere, you can always email us, and I'll have the email at the end of the presentation, and we can look into how that would impact your degree here at Purdue. So the Doctor of Pharmacy admissions process. Many of our students who do come into the College of Pharmacy at Purdue are interested in going into the Doctor of Pharmacy program. So we do like to cover this during our presentation, just so you are aware of what you have to prepare for, because you're going to be preparing this application and submitting it during your second year of college. So we want to make sure that you can be as prepared as possible to be successful in the application process. So we do not require the PCAT to be taken or the score to be submitted. The application for PharmD admissions opens in July and closes in December. There is a course that we offer at Purdue that prepares you to take or to submit your application. So during your sophomore year in the fall, you can enroll in that course and it will give you deadlines of when to get certain parts of your application done. So when to reach out to the people writing your letters of recommendation, when to get your personal statement done. It also pairs you up with people who will overlook or look over the different parts of your application that you need to submit, just so you have a second pair of eyes on it and get advice from students who are in the program now. It's highly recommended, and a lot of students have said it's very helpful, especially since applying to a doctoral program is a big thing. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, so it's an easy way to make sure that you're on track and you've covered all of your bases. Our PharmD application for 2025, we had about 350 applicants. We interviewed or offered interviews to about 250 of them. Typically, the reason why a student wouldn't have been offered an interview is because they did not meet our prerequisites, which will be on the next page or maybe 2 pages. It's coming up though. And every single year we admit we admit exactly 150 students into the program for their first year of professional or the first year of the professional program. That number doesn't change. It stays the same. It's part of the accreditation process for our PharmD program. Of that 150 number, typically there's about 90, I think it's over 90% of the students will be from the Purdue pre-pharmacy program. So if you're going through pre-pharmacy here at Purdue, we really do our best to make sure that you are prepared to go into the doctor of pharmacy program. And so we do have a high rate of our students who do end up staying at Purdue to complete their degree. Ambassadors, would you like to talk a little bit about your process in filling out your application, or maybe interviewing, or just where you're at with that and what you're willing to share?
So mine was a few years ago now, so it's not as fresh in my mind. But I really wanted to focus in on the PHSC 200 class. Almost everyone I knew took that class that was going to be applying to PharmD. It's taught by TAs. It's an online course. Usually you're in a group of about 8 to 10 students, and then you have an upperclassman teaching you and making content for you. And so now as a P2, I'm actually a TA for that course because I had such a great experience in it. And I've been able to help some of my students with things like finding their strengths. We've done personal statement reviews just here a few weeks ago. And then we've also done some drafting for asking letter of recommendation people for letters from them to support them going through the PharmD process. And then in the future here, we're going to be going over like mock interviews and things like that, as well as just basic pharmacy info that'll be helpful when they start. So I just really wanted to emphasize how important that class is and how helpful it really is in the whole process. The application process itself has a lot of different steps to it and a lot of moving pieces that are due at different times. And so being a part of that class really just gets you into a group of students that are all kind of on the same page, and it holds you more accountable and to keep going and not waiting till the last minute. In terms of the actual like application, it's an online application and it's very extensive with details and timing and events that you've participated in all the way back through even your last 2 years of high school. And so something I would recommend that you can do right now to prepare for this process, if you want to go the PharmD route, is to start writing things down. Just your experiences, the date you did it, maybe something fun that you learned or something unique, and then who was kind of in charge of it. So whether that's like a volunteer organization or whether that's a club that you're involved in or even church, something like that. If you just keep track of that now, it'll make this process 10 times easier for you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Annika said everything pretty beautifully. I don't have a lot to add, but like she said, the that 200 class is genuinely the most helpful thing. I think it's honestly probably the most important class for like applying to the PharmD program, anything like that. The application I will say isn't, it can sound pretty daunting, but it's, I would say it's not, it's like very similar to like a regular college application, I would say. I mean, you need like letters of rec, you need like a personal statement. I know for us, Purdue required us to submit us a supplemental essay. I think it was on the humanity classes that we took, and they're like pretty short. It's only like I think 200 to 300 words, nothing super long, and I think there were two of them. But so nothing, nothing anything crazy. And again, they help you that entire way, like that you're applying. Even like during the interview process, they'll do mock interviews. I think one of the most helpful things they did for the mock interviews is they gave us a list of questions of about like 50 questions that the person interviewing you might ask. And I know I prepared for all of those questions, and every single question I was asked was on that sheet. So nothing is super new or unique or anything like that. Most of the times, and then they'll really try your best to. They'll a lot of the like pharmacy frats will try their best to really prepare you for those interviews. So I think as long as you start it early, again, track what you want to track, like anything, track everything down, like Annika said, I think it should be a relatively smooth process, honestly. I would start maybe just, I think the hardest thing that people try to get is that pharmacy experience because I do try to look for some sort of pharmacy experience. I think working as a pharmacy tech is great. A lot of people do that. I personally didn't do that. But also like interviewing pharmacists, literally just calling pharmacies near you and just asking them if you can interview a pharmacist, that counts too as pharmacy experience. So kind of all that sort of thing helps.
So I'm a second year student. I'm a sophomore right now. So I'm going through the pharmacy application process right now. So it's very real to me. And the Pharmacy 200 class has helped a lot. Funnily enough, Annika is my TA. So, she's read all my letter of recommendation and my and my personal statement drafts and all of that. So yeah, I would say the class helps a lot in keeping you on track and on pace to submit your applications to Purdue on time and stuff like that. And I would definitely agree with the other two ambassadors that keeping track of all your experiences is super duper important. Um, because you tend to do a lot of volunteering activities and a lot of service events with clubs that you may be super involved in, may not be as involved in, but every single service hour counts, and you still want to highlight all the different experiences you had throughout your first 2 years at Purdue. Another thing I would say, as exciting as college is, it's still important to keep up with your academics because I know that's still a big part of the application that they look into. But as well as that, like the other ambassador said, gain some experience in the pharmacy field, do some volunteering, keep up with your personal interests and extracurriculars, and you should be okay.
So they all kind of hit on everything that's on this slide, but the ideal PharmD applicant will have all of the things on this slide and everything that they talked about. It's a very holistic review. Yes, you do need to have the grades. You absolutely do need to get the application in on time. But you also want to have that pharmacy experience. You want to have employment experience. You have to be able to communicate. You're actually tested on your written and oral communication skills during the interview process. And the reason why they're saying write everything down that you're doing is because you will be listing out all of the extracurriculars, volunteer, and healthcare experiences that you've had over the past however many years it is at that point, but up until back until your last 2 years of high school. And then there's also 2 letters of evaluation, 2 letters of recommendation that you'll have to do as well. As promised, here's the priority admissions information. Over on the right is all of the courses that are required for priority admissions. These courses pretty much mimic exactly what is on the plan of study for the first 2 years, whether you are looking at pre-pharmacy or you are looking at the Bachelor's of Science Pharmaceutical Sciences program. Priority admissions requires a 3.25 or higher. You have a C minus in all of these pre-pharmacy courses listed on the right. And of course, final decisions do come from the admissions department or the admissions decision, admissions committee, that's the word I'm looking for. And they'll look at everything. They'll look at your application, they'll look at your interview, and evaluate all of those experiences when they're looking to see if you are a candidate for PharmD. So why Purdue Pharmacy? So what sets us apart? It's that 2+4 program. So 2 years of undergraduate prerequisites and then 4 years of a professional school. Additionally, we do have this new partnership with the Masters of Public Health. So we have the 4+1 program for bachelor's degree students. And then this year we'll also be beginning a partnership with Masters of Public Health for our PharmD students as well. So that means you could get a bachelor's degree and a master's of public health. PharmD students will also have the option to apply to get both a master's of public health and a PharmD degree. We are the top 10 most affordable program. We've got an on-site student-run pharmacy that all doctor of pharmacy students will have to work in during their first year in the program. There's a bunch of faculty and tons of different experiences that you'll get within pharmacy. One of the requirements of the Doctor of Pharmacy program is that your fourth year, you're on what are called rotations, where you're working in pharmacies, getting experience, or working in a pharmaceutical setting, getting experience in the field. We've also got tons of student organizations, and all of them will also help prepare you for the Doctor of Pharmacy program, or if you're interested in the Bachelor's of Science Pharmaceutical Sciences, there are organizations for you as well. And we have a new building coming soon, which I will show you pictures of on the next page. But ambassadors, is there anything on this list that you want to speak about? Maybe your experience in the pharmacy or the nuclear program, or just anything that sticks out that you want to mention?
So I'll go ahead and talk about the nuclear program. But first, nuclear pharmacy, a lot of people don't know what that means, and it might sound scary to some people. So the nuclear pharmacy program is something you start once you are in the PharmD program. Basically, it's applying radioactive material to a drug, and then that drug then goes and usually gets injected into someone. Sometimes they make like tablets and things like that too. And then they will get scans done, certain types of scans, and it'll basically light up on the images on whatever it's diagnosing or detecting inside the body. So this was actually the first type of pharmacist that I ever shadowed. Like I said earlier, my mom works in healthcare. She's actually a nuclear medicine technologist, and her job is to take the products that nuclear pharmacists make, and she's the one that injects them into people and sees it light up on the screen. So it's kind of like a full circle moment for me. And I thought since it's offered at Purdue, I might as well take it while I'm here. Even if I'm not 100% sure that I want to go into nuclear pharmacy, it does save a lot of money and time if I ever do decide to do that in the future. Another thing about the PharmD program is that you need electives while you're going through it, and doing this program automatically gets me those electives, so it kind of just benefits me in the long run in multiple different ways. And yeah, that's about it.
Oh yeah, for me, I'm from Illinois, so I kind of wanted to go to a school that's like kind of close, but not super close to home. So Purdue was a great fit for that. And then, like Annika said, the nuclear pharmacy program is really good here. And nuclear is not like my main interest, but again, like kind of Annika said, like if it's something I want to maybe go into, I'm glad that I have the option to do that here, especially since once you graduate, you can get your nuclear certificate. So that's really nice. And like she says, it saves money there. And then also, Purdue has a lot of really great staff that are actively working as pharmacists too. So they are directly involved in the field and are, can kind of provide that guidance that will help, that will help you like gain all the knowledge you need for the real world.
I just wanted to touch on some of the organizations and clubs they have at Purdue. Purdue Pharmacy has like several unique pharmacy clubs that kind of differentiate the different aspects of pharmacy. So you can learn about the different aspects, but not only that, they have a lot of clubs where they offer help to different students. For example, I'm in the Purdue Peer Mentoring Program. So all the freshmen who are admitted into the pharmacy program actually can sign up to have a peer mentor, and they can have an upperclassman who is assigned to be a one-on-one mentor with them, who they can meet once a week or once every 2 weeks, and they can kind of talk to them more about like flowing into the college experience. They can talk to them about academics. They can talk to them about like social, making new friends and stuff like that. And I was a mentee last year, so I had a great experience with my mentor, and I got to have like a guiding figure who was more honest and real with me about the program and everything as I entered the program and faced college and stuff, especially as a first generation student. And this year I'm a mentor, so I get to see kind of more the back end working of it and how they try to set up the program to be as easy as possible for the students coming in.
A little bit more about the student organizations. During the first few weeks that you are on campus, the College of Pharmacy will host something that's called a First Nighter. And basically, all of the, or most of the pharmacy organizations will have tables set up with posters about what they do. And it's a really great and easy way to get involved and to see what all is out there in terms of different areas that you might be interested in. For example, there's a pediatric pharmacy club. All three of us, Veda, Matthew, and me, are all part of the Pharmacy Ambassadors Club. So even that's a thing. That's why we're here right now today. And really, any specialty of pharmacy you can think of, there's probably a club for it. Along with that, Purdue as a whole probably has thousands and thousands of clubs, maybe hundreds, I don't know. But there are so many out there for literally anything you can think of. And if it's not out there already, you can make it yourself. So one that that I really enjoy participating in is a dog walking club. We partner with a local shelter, and some of our weekends we spend going to the shelter and walking dogs and helping out around there. So that's been super fun. But yes, not everything that you have to do has to be pharmacy. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, we're a Big Ten school, so the football games and basketball games are pretty fun.
Thank you all. Oh, like promised, here are the photos of what the pharmacy building might look like. We're gonna have a new pharmacy and nursing education building that will open in January of 2027. We are very excited about it. So if you are applying to college, you will definitely end up having classes in this building in the coming years. Okay, preparing for college. As you prepare for college, you of course have to apply. Our application is open now. Early action is you have to get your application in by November 1st for early action. Also, if you are interested in the Honors College, you will want to get your application in by November 1st. If you have questions about the Honors College or want to learn more about it, you can always check out their website and learn a little bit more about it. Um, as you prepare to come to college, you'll want to make sure you're submitting any AP or dual credit courses that you have, and you want to be ready to take calculus and chemistry your first semester. So these scores listed here for the SAT and ACT are what is required for you to test into the chemistry and calculus class that we had listed for first semester. However, if you do not get these scores, do not fear. We also have the ALEX, which is our math placement exam that you can take over the summer prior to starting at Purdue. And as long as you score a 75, you are able to take those courses as well. So don't be discouraged if your SAT or ACT is not one of these numbers. You've got another option. And one of the biggest recommendations we have is that you shadow or volunteer or interview pharmacists and just learn more about the field because it is a very niche field of study. And so we want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what it is. And you'll also want to know more about it as you do prepare to kind of go through college and learn about it on a very deep level, especially if you're interested in that Doctor of Pharmacy program, you're going to need to be able to talk about it. So definitely look for shadow volunteer experiences if you can. Um, Ambassadors, can you talk a little bit about maybe how you prepared for college and why you ultimately chose Purdue?
Like I said before, one thing that I did to prepare was to make that list of everything that I'm involved in. And that really helped me. I ultimately chose Purdue. Again, I really had no clue going into it. I did apply to all those schools with all those different majors, and something just really told me that I needed to come here. I actually did like a Produce for Me visit where I came and learned to this or listened to this exact same presentation, but in person. And then later I got a tour of the pharmacy building and campus, which was super cool. Um, And then also with part of that, I got to eat lunch with some of the ambassadors, which again is what the three of us are. And so I remember sitting inside the pharmacy building in one of the study areas eating Jimmy John's with some pharmacy ambassadors, and I actually accepted my offer of admission inside the pharmacy building. So that was pretty cool. But I really think that if you guys have the chance to, please come out to visit us on campus. We'd be happy to show you around. We'd be happy to show you our pharmacy building. But yeah, please stop by because we're here all the time.
I kind of would agree with everything Annika said. I also did a tour with like at the pharmacy building, which honestly was really helpful, and all the ambassadors were really nice and also super honest too. So it made me a little more prepared going into like starting a program here. I would say kind of just preparing, I would say one, give yourself a break. You just graduated high school, allow yourself to kind of enjoy that before kind of just maybe take a little, maybe just look at the classes that you're going through. I think always we have a program here called BGR, which is Boiler Gold Rush, which is kind of the week before classes start. Students can kind of come here and they'll be paired with like a group, and it just helps you get used to kind of being on campus and makes that transition a little easier. And then I would just say again, kind of start shadowing volunteering, maybe trying to getting up as much of that experience as you can. I know I kind of didn't do that, and I ended up having to kind of like speed up the process and like I guess like kind of cram a little bit during my application year. So if you kind of just start doing that early and talking to upperclassmen early and seeing kind of what you need to do, I think that makes it a lot easier. And kind of like I was said earlier, I applied to Purdue. I ended up choosing Purdue because I really liked the location, and also what I really liked about it too was how even though like a lot of the classes you take the first 2 years are kind of gen eds and like there's like a lot of people in your class is like 300. I felt like Purdue does a really good job of like all the professors really want you to succeed and give you the tools needed to succeed, especially with those TA sessions. Like you'll each have an assigned TA that's really accommodating and really wants to help you. And I think that that really helped me through the application process and made my time here a lot easier.
Kind of on the same page, one of the biggest things I liked about Purdue was how it was kind of close to home, not too close to home, but also that it was a big university, but a small college. The College of Pharmacy is really small, and you really get to know everyone within your cohort and within the program itself. However, obviously Purdue's Big Ten, so it's a massive university, and I went to a big high school, so I really liked going to a big college as well. But as well as getting the chance to make those connections and stuff like that. I also agree with Matthew. I didn't do a whole lot of looking into the shadowing stuff too much early on, and I wish I did. I would say maybe get at least try one or two shadowing experiences while you're in while you're in the summer before or the senior year before college, just so that you can get your toe dipped in the water and you kind of know how to navigate that process while you're in the busy first year of college. And I'm also in the honors college. So the honors college with pharmacy works slightly differently than all the other majors as you go to your upperclassmen year. So if you have any questions about that, you can always contact me.
Thank you all. So that is it for our formal presentation. This is the email that you can email if you have specific questions about those dual credit courses, or if you have any questions after this presentation. We will now open it up to questions from you all. You can type them in the chat, or you can come off of mute and ask them, and I will answer, or the ambassadors will answer, whichever makes the most sense. So are there any questions?
I was wondering what like the ratio of like men to women are, like how many like men or like women get like accepted into the pharmacy program.
For the Doctor of Pharmacy program, I don't think I know the exact numbers, but I want to say for incoming freshman students, I want to say it was like 60% female, 40% male. Typically, it is a higher percentage female than male.
So true the true for it's also true for the PharmD program, I would say.
Other questions? I will let one of the ambassadors take that question in the chat.
So I don't know anyone that does sports like actual sports through Purdue, but they offer the intramural sports and like literally anything you can think of. And some of my pharmacy friends do like a volleyball league. So I know that they've really enjoyed that and they've had time. Also, along with the pharmacy curriculum, I don't want you guys to think that pharmacy has to be the only thing you can do here. I am also taking a certificate in entrepreneurship and innovation as well, and I've had plenty of time in my classes for that. And I've also had time just to take some fun classes that I enjoy, not related to pharmacy whatsoever. Um, Also, my roommate is also in pharmacy, and she's double majoring in linguistics and pharmacy and doing minors in a few other languages as well. So there's definitely room in your schedule to fit some classes that might be interesting in there. I know that we have like a bowling class, there's like a wine tasting class, and I think there's one where you like watch movies and then write about it. I don't know. There's all sorts of classes out there, and you will definitely have time as long as you are able to like manage the workload of academics of pharmacy well. You can make time in your schedule for these other things that you enjoy. I've also been able to like work a lot while I'm here too. So if that kind of puts it into perspective, now as a P2, I work 2 days a week in a pharmacy. So even as a pre-pharmacy student though, so the first 2 years on campus, I still would have had time to work. I just didn't really have transportation back then because they don't let you have cars on campus your first year, but there's definitely time to work or do hobbies.
Kind of going off that, I'm a pre-pharmacy student and I work right now. There's a lot of on-campus jobs actually where you can work at a front desk and you can actually do homework while you do that too. For example, I'm front desk for the study center and then I'll have like a 2-hour shift and then I can do my homework and stuff on the side. So if you're super interested in working and making money while you're still focusing on school and stuff, there's a lot of options like that throughout campus as well.
I know we didn't really touch on it, but or maybe I missed it, but there is a learning community for pharmacy. I don't know if any of the other ambassadors were in it, but I was not. And something in these presentations that we usually talk about is like if we think it's beneficial, if we would recommend it to you guys. And I can't speak from personal experiences, but I can say that if you're on the fence about it, don't think that that's the only way that you're going to get connections and help with pharmacy. There are tons of other resources out there to get you connected, to get you help if you need it in terms of studying, in terms of involvement, shadowing, anything you can think of. A learning community is not the only way to go with.
Are there any like study abroad
Oh, sorry.
opportunities?
Go
Like,
ahead.
are there any like study abroad opportunities specifically like for like this like College of Pharmacy?
There, oh, there are mostly you can do. I know a few people. I'm doing like a study abroad over just the spring break, so only like a week in Ireland. That like tailors to pharmacy. But for if you do the PharmD program, you can do a rotation in a different country in Kenya, Colombia, and also I think the UK and Wales. Where you like stay there for like a month and basically like practice pharmacy out there in some capacity. So there are, but yeah.
I actually did a study abroad through the College of Pharmacy last spring break. So, my freshman year spring break, and we went to Shanghai, and it was focused on traditional Chinese medicine and kind of about how Eastern medicine is different from Western medicine and how they can be incorporated and work together and stuff like that. It was super, super cool. It was very long travel, but I think it was super worth it. However, like Matthew said, there are some other study abroads. Like this year, I know Ireland's running instead of China. And also, you don't have to be in the College of Pharmacy to do a study abroad program. So, if there's something that public health or College of Science interests you instead, I do know that you're allowed to go. There's a study abroad fair that happens every year where you can go check out all the different programs, and you could do a program through a different college. And also, the Honors College offers like 7 to 8 different study abroad programs, like spanning from spring break all the way to like a whole semester. So there's lots of different options on how long you want to do your study abroad as well.
Someone asked in the chat about AI and how it's incorporated into the program. When I first came to college, AI wasn't really like a thing. So over time, it's definitely growing in popularity, and I can start to see it more integrated in many of my classes. Something cool that Purdue, I think, recently put into offering is an AI course related to pharmacy and how it all connects. So I think I'm going to take that in the future, but I am really interested to see how much further AI does get incorporated as I progress through pharmacy school.
Yeah, kind of adding on to what Annika said, like a few of our assignments actually require us to use AI and kind of compare like what AI says to like what like it says in like our classes and everything. I will say though, most of our classes do kind of have a little section in the syllabus that say that we shouldn't use AI unless directed. So I think that is kind of important to know. Um, but yeah, it's definitely the College of Pharmacy is definitely like incorporating it into our classes more.
Ambassadors, is there anything else you wanted to talk about or share that we haven't already discussed?
Something that I guess I would have liked to know when I was sitting through this presentation was that not only is it your P4 year that you'll go, or your fourth year in PharmD, that you'll go and do rotations in all of these different locations, but you also get the opportunity to do it each summer after you get into the program. So the summer after your P1 year and the summer after your P2 year, you get the opportunity to kind of try it out and do like a mini rotation almost. So I just completed mine, so that's been really fun. I also wanted to touch base on the whole work experience thing. That is really, like, you really need that to make your application stand out. But I want to emphasize that it doesn't have to be pharmacy work. There's so many other skills that you can get from other types of jobs out there. Even if you work at an ice cream stand, or if you're a food runner or a host at a restaurant, anything like that, you're still learning skills that you can bring to the table when it comes to pharmacy topics. So I just wanted to make that really important. Once you get into the pharmacy program, the PharmD program, you'll automatically get like your intern license through the state of Indiana, allowing you to work as an intern through a pharmacy if you choose to. And along with that, you do get to work in the Purdue University Pharmacy, which I thought was really fun. So that's something to look forward to.
All right, is there any other questions? If not, we can go ahead and end early. Thank you all so much for being here. Please feel free to email farmlife@purdue.edu if you have any questions at all. And have a wonderful evening.